Hello friends, welcome to the demo session of SQLTRIX. Our journey to the SQL Server begins here. My name is Pavan. I have a total experience of 9 years with SQL Server and other data analytical tools, and I'm currently working in UK. Let's get on with the course now. Why learn database? This is the biggest question that we need to ask ourselves. As we all know, data is the center of most of the applications that we use today. So without data, any company or any business, they will not be able to manage their finances, their employees' payrolls, and most importantly, they won't be able to manage their customers. So every company should make use of database to run their day-to-day operations effectively and efficiently. So I will take some examples to to help us understand the importance of data. For example, the banks, the online shopping sites, the social media networks, these are the most important applications that we use in our day-to-day lives. All of them need to store their data, and they should, in order to run their day-to-day activities. If we take bank as an example, so from opening an account for the user, for the customer, and when the customer deposits the money and when the customer withdraws the money from ATM, all these operations are dependent on the data that the bank is holding. So the banks should store that data efficiently and effectively, and provide the services to their customers. They should manage it properly. And similarly, the Facebook, when you scroll down through your feed on the Facebook tries to analyze the data, the websites that you visit from Facebook, and they will try to personalize the things. As a classic example, if you visit any news website from Facebook, for example, Times of India, if you read an article from Times of India on Facebook records that data, and they will try to provide you personalized experience by suggesting other news pages that are available, like Deccan Chronicle and the Indian Express. So that's how the social media uses the data to personalize the experience for the users. And similarly, nowadays most of the people are using online shopping websites to do the shopping. So I've taken this Amazon example also to explain the importance of data nowadays. When you buy something, let us say you buy a mobile on Amazon. So Amazon gives the suggestions that, the products that you can buy along with mobile phone, like the pouch or any other thing. So based on your previous purchases on Amazon, it will suggest you the items that you can buy along with the item that you are buying currently. So that's how online shopping sites use their customers' data to provide the kind of functionality that I've just explained. So that's how important data is in our day-to-day lives. So coming to the job market, more than 50% of the IT jobs need database skills, and the prospects of getting a good job increase when we learn the database skills as well. So the IT, as it stands for information technology, so information means data, and it transforms and it again translates into the database technologies. So I think I've answered most of the answers to the question why we should learn database. Now let's go to the next slide where we discuss about SQL Server. Now that we have learned why we should learn database, let us see why we should choose SQL Server as our database. So SQL Server has a market share of 20% throughout the world. That means 20% of the companies and organizations and the businesses are using SQL Server as their database and backend. So there is a company called Data Niche. It has conducted a research, and it has come up with the findings that over 28,000 companies including small, medium, and large scale companies, are using SQL Server as their database. So, this is the graph that makes us understand of the impact that SQL Server has on the market. So, there are a total of 28,112 websites that have been developed with SQL Server as their backend. And we have MySQL and Oracle database. All the other vendors are coming next to the SQL Server. Why would companies choose SQL Server when they have the other vendors in the market like Oracle or MySQL or IBM DB2 or for that matter PostgreSQL? The reason is straightforward. It's because Microsoft provides a simple licensing model and it is easy to manage for the companies. And it also provides other tools along with SQL Server like SQL Server Analysis Services, SQL Server Integration Services, SQL Server Reporting Services. So it comes as a suite, business intelligence suite along with SQL Server. So most of the companies select SQL Server because of the add-on tools that are provided by the SQL Server. And from the developers and the users point of view, it is very easy to learn SQL Server because of the documentation that is available online. Microsoft has a perfect level of documentation for all the issues, for all the scenarios, for all the concepts online. So the MSDN website is the best resource to learn Microsoft SQL Server. So for a developer, if a developer is a fresher, if he wants to learn SQL Server, it is not very difficult for a newcomer to learn SQL Server because of the plenty of inbuilt tools available with SQL Server. So I know most of you might be using Windows as operating system, isn't it? So you should understand Windows is also from Microsoft. The reason why Microsoft is a very big hit is because of its ease to use. It's very easy to use for the users and it is self-explanatory. And the same goes with SQL Server as well, because SQL Server is from Microsoft again, and it is most of the SQL Server things are self-explanatory except for some of the core concepts, and it is very easy to learn for the developers. And because of the market, 20% of the job market is dedicated to SQL Server. It's very easy to find a job if you have SQL Server skills. Now that we have discussed about the SQL Server database and other stuff, let's discuss about the course, this course. So we have plenty of online courses. You can find a trainer in Bangalore or Hyderabad, wherever you can. But the difference between those courses, the online courses or the offline courses that you have in India, and this course is quite straightforward. All those courses are concept driven. So they will take the concept and they will explain theoretically what that concept is, and they will write some code about that on that concept, and they will give you some assignments. But that approach is not very good to learn SQL Server. So this course has been designed to make the candidates understand not only SQL Server, it also emphasizes the point to understand the end product and the project and the relationship between the SQL Server and end product. Because in the real time, it is not just SQL Server that matters. It is also the project that you are delivering using SQL Server that matters. So with that in perspective, we are going to parallelly run a native project called SQLTRIX. So the name of the project that we are going to use to understand the SQL Server concepts is called SQLTRIX. The more information on SQLTRIX project will be provided as part of the course. So that project we will be using to understand the SQL Server concepts. When I say we will be using, we will be developing the project from scratch, based on the steps of software development lifecycle. As you all know, software development lifecycle has certain steps. It starts with the requirements phase, and then it comes on to the design phase, and then it comes on to the development phase, and then to the testing phase, and then to the deployment phase. So all these steps in the software development lifecycle are going to be emphasized with this SQLTRIX project, and in the process we will fit in the individual concepts of Microsoft SQL Server, and we will be understanding those using the project flow that we have, rather than understanding the individual concepts of SQL Server on their own. We'll be using this project to understand the SQL Server concepts, and more information on the project SQLTRIX will be provided during the course. And at the end of each concept or each session, there will be assignments given. So these assignments will help the candidates practice and understand in a deeper way how the concepts work. And then at the end of the course, mock interviews will be held to make the candidates ready for the industry. When I say industry, it's making them ready to attend the interviews and clear them potentially. And multiple written tests will be conducted to make the candidates familiarize themselves with the SQL concepts. So those are the main goals that we are trying to achieve with this course, and that's the main difference. These are the main differences between any other online courses or offline courses that you can find. So these are the contents that we'll be trying to cover. I know most of you, if you go back and Google the contents of the course, any SQL Server course, these are all common concepts that you would find. But as I already explained, the difference between this and that is this is a project based and project driven concepts. So we'll be learning each of the concepts with the corresponding functional flow, because in the industry it is not just the technology but the functionality as well that matters. So we will start with the database introduction, why we need a database, and I've already given you some introduction, but we will go in deep. We will try to understand other storage techniques apart from database, and then I will provide an overview on what project SQLTRIX is, because that is the most important piece of this course, because that differentiates this course from the other courses. And then we will install the SQL Server on the candidate systems. I will walk you through the installation process. And the SQL Server 2019, which is the latest version that has been released by Microsoft, we are going to use that version. And I am going to provide more information on the software and the hardware requirements that are needed for installing the SQL Server 2019 in the next slide. And then we'll be moving on to the SQL Server basics. And Transact SQL is the SQL language that we write in SQL Server environment. We will start with the basics, and then we understand how to design a database from the scratch, and we will jump into the advanced concept of T-SQL, the transactional concepts, and the SQL Server security is something very important that we need to learn. So SQL Server, because there are mostly two job profiles with SQL Server database. One is the database developer and the other one is the database administrator. If you learn in depth how the SQL Server security works, you have an advantage over the other candidates, because you will be eligible for SQL Server administrator profile as well. And then we'll learn how to load external data sources into SQL Server. When I say external data sources, we can load a text file contents into SQL Server. We can load an XML file contents into SQL Server, a JSON file. So all those are out of SQL Server data sources can be loaded into SQL Server using the tools that they provide. And the most important part of all is SQL Server query performance. So when we store the data in SQL Server, we should be able to retrieve the data without delay. So let's take Amazon shopping as an example. If you try to search an item and if it takes more than 1 minute to retrieve, the user will be frustrated and you will be frustrated. So performance of the query should be very good and the results should be very fast, and that's where we learn how to tune the performance of the code that we write so that the retrieval part is very fast. And then the final chapter is to learn the advanced concepts like in-memory OLTP and SQL CLR. Even though you might not have heard about these words, you will be learning more on this in the further classes. So shortly, these are the concepts that we are going to learn in this course. So any questions on the contents of this course so far? I think I take that as no questions, and I'll go on with the next slide then. So yeah, so ways of training. As I already said, I'm based in the UK. I work in the UK, so I wouldn't be able to provide a face-to-face training. So we will do this via online meeting applications like Google Meet, as we are doing now. And I'll be sharing my screen and I'll be walking you through everything that I do, and all the course material will be provided to you if there is any. And if you have any queries during the session or after the session, you can always email me. I'll be providing my email at the end of this session. And as I said, the guidance part is the most important part. So the guidance that I'm going to provide will help you understand the functional importance of SQL Server. Not only SQL Server as a technology, but the end product and the project that you're delivering with the SQL Server is also equally important. And that's the reason why Project SQLTRIX, I'm trying to emphasize as much as I can on Project SQLTRIX. And prerequisites from the candidates. So as I already mentioned, we'll be using SQL Server 2019 throughout this course. And I expect the candidates to have a laptop or a desktop, basically a PC with 6 GB hard disk, 1 GB RAM, and they should be running on Windows 10. If you need more information on the specifications that you would need to install SQL Server 2019, you can look in Microsoft website. If you Google it, I think it will come up. It will give you the minimum specifications that you need to install SQL Server 2019. So that's what I expect a candidate to have at the minimum to learn SQL Server. And then, so as I said, as I am based in the UK, the classes will be held during the weekend, because I can have a weekday class as well, but the timings, because of the time difference, I wouldn't be able to provide daily classes, but I can provide weekend classes. And during the weekdays, if you have any questions, you can always get back. You can always contact me via the email that I'm going to provide in the coming slides. So this is the roadmap that we will be going through. So every Saturday and Sunday. So these are the concepts that we are going to learn. And the last week is mainly for conducting written tests and mock interviews to make the candidate feel comfortable and confident about this technology, and making them interview ready. So the reason why I started this course is because I've been working on this for the last 9 years, and I felt that I need to share my knowledge with others. I feel that the knowledge is wasted if it is not shared. So please share it with your friends if you feel that they can learn something out of this course, and they can come back to me via the email that I've provided. And thanks for listening to this demo. I know I have not provided too many technical details because that is part of the course. I've tried to cover what we are going to do throughout this course. It is not just a course, it is a journey. So we are all going to be part of journey to learn SQL Server. So I wouldn't call this a course, actually. This is a journey which we should embark on to learn and implement SQL Server. So if you have any questions, you can always get back to me with the email. You can note it down, pavankumar.manneru @outlook.com, and I'll get back to you very quickly. And if you have any questions, get back to me, please. And yeah, that's the demo. That's the end of the demo session.